blessings, Ya Allah. Show us your mercy, Ya Allah. Guide us. Greetings, salam, salutations, and our beloved Nabi Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's 4 minutes past 8 on this Saturday morning, the 27th of July 2024, the 20th of Muharram 1446. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Rise and Shine on Radio Al Ansar with myself, Faizal MJ Suleman. Yes, it is undoubtedly a beautiful Saturday morning in the presence of Zakaria Umar in the studio engineering for me, Wasima Bucks attending to logistics, and Hajra Kota having produced the show. This is Rise and Shine. Yes, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you're having a wonderful morning, rather. If you're on the roads, remember, maintain those driving and safety distances. And if you're at home, you are relaxing, then enjoy the company of Radio Al Ansar. Just a bit of update on what seems to be happening. Executive Manager at the Water Research Commission, Shafiq Adams, warned that climate change is already impacting South Africa's water sector. The report provides a detailed analysis of climate change, its impacts, and South Africa's progress towards limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade. It projects that climate change impacts on the water sector will continue to grow. Well, let's see how that pans out. Yes, we are having major water issues, but inshallah, I'm sure that one can address that. South African consumers have strong appetite to ditch private transport for public options. Accounting firm PwC says a report has found consumers have a strong appetite to ditch private transport for public options as commuters' frustration mounts. PwC said 8 out of 10 South Africans would be willing to take public transport if the country had better transport infrastructure. It said consumers were mostly frustrated about increasing congestion and the rising cost of private transport. Well, it can become very, very stressful when you've got to drive to work, drive back from work, and many of us, travel long distances. And of course, when you come to work stressed out, then of course your productivity is affected. Strike interrupts service delivery across eThekwini. Rubbish is piling up in the Durban CBD as expanded public works program staff continue to down tools. The strike by staff at Durban Solid Waste started earlier this week when they were told their contracts would not be renewed. Various places in the city, including Wentworth, Clearwood, Umbilo, and Pinetown, have been impacted. The city is now urging residents not to take out their refuse until further notice, as the striking workers are allegedly intimidating their permanent colleagues and refuse collection contractors. Another positive turn for petrol prices in August. Data from the Central Energy Fund for the end of week July shows that all fuel grades are now in line for a small cut in August. Last week, only petrol 93 and 95 and 0.5% sulfur content diesel were lined up for cuts, but a weaker oil price and a relatively stable rand have now added 0.005% diesel to the list of possible cuts. While a far stretch from the sizable petrol price cuts seen over the past 2 months, motorists will find some relief in not having to pay more, provided current market conditions persist to the end of the month. You are listening to Rise and Shine, and my name is Faizal. So MJ Suleman, you can forward to us your WhatsApp messages on 060 904 1056.
Once upon a time, during our moonbeam, a merciful mankind was sent for you and me.
And this orphan child grew and came to be the greatest man alive. Praying Jannah with me, paved the way for us so we can believe. Taught us all about love, showed us what it means. Ya Muhammad, Ya Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya Muhammad, Ya Muhammad, بحنانك قلبي تبسم. Ya Muhammad, Ya Muhammad,
Our first message comes from Sister Leila Mehta, and it says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to the blessed Ummah of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Peace, blessings, and salutations be upon our beloved Nabi Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah for another blessed day as it arises from sujood. No good action goes without reward. Every atom's weight of good we do will be rewarded. May the Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam be blessed with ease, barakah, and protection. Ameen. Have a blessed and safe weekend. Salams and duas, Sister Leila Mehta and family. Inspiring reflections, deeds for Jannah. One never knows which act could be the means of attaining entry into Jannah. It could be the smallest act that a person forgets about, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never forgets. The believer should thus constantly strive to embrace every opportunity. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us tawfiq to do those deeds which will secure our success in the akhirah. Ameen. Hadith says, Bismillahi walhamdulillahi wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah. Jarir radiallahu ta'ala narrated that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when the charity collector comes to you, then he should not depart from you except while pleased. Give with an open heart and hope for a great reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jazakallah khair for that beautiful message and inspiring message, Sister Leila Mehta. Message from Sister Ruqayya. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My brother Faizal and the Rise and Shine team. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you. Please make me maaf if I said or did anything wrong. माँ के लिए सारी दुनिया छोड़ देना मगर दुनिया के लिए माँ को मत छोड़ना. Thank you for that Urdu message, we can say. If you like giving up hope, just listen to Surah Baqarah. You will gain hope, inshallah ta'ala. If everything around looks dark, look again, you will see the light. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a tendency of picking up a nobody to become a somebody in front of everybody without asking anybody. I like that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a tendency of picking up a nobody to become a somebody in front of everybody without asking anybody. Excellent. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, my brother Faizal, your family, and the entire ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ameen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala aap aur aapki family ko hamesha khush aur salamat rakhe. Inshallah, ameen. Sister Ruqayya, jazakallah khair for those messages, Sister Ruqayya. Undoubtedly an absolutely beautiful nasheed, if I can call it. And of course, it's a dedication to the mother, something that we'll enjoy continuously. We can play it over and over and over again. It has huge meaning for each and every one of us. WhatsApp message has come through, says, a soulmate isn't just someone who fits perfectly into your life. It's someone who challenges you, grows with you, and sees the world in your eyes. Together, you create a bond that transcends time and space, making every moment a testament to a true connection. Message that comes from Mrs. Rahman says, Assalamu alaikum Faizal, dua of Hazrat Maulana Yunus Patel. All praise is due to Allah Ta'ala, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Salat and salam be upon our beloved master, the Rasul and beloved of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the seal of all prophets, and mercy unto the word Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. O Allah, Bestow mercy upon our beloved Rasul Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and upon his family, his companions, his children, his wives and his offsprings, his followers and everyone from amongst his ummah. Ameen summa ameen. Have a blessed day. And that comes from Mrs. Rahman. Mrs. Rahman, Jazakallah khair for the beautiful message as well.
जो मैंने उम्र किया माँ तेरी दुआ से
Zero 0609041056. We look forward to your WhatsApp messages, your inspirational WhatsApp messages. 0609041056. A lovely message. It comes through. I'm just trying to decipher this. Okay. Once upon a time, and this comes from a sister Hamida. Once upon a time, when window was just a square hole. Zach, you're going to enjoy this, Zach. When window was just a square hole in a room, an application was something written on a paper. When keyboard was a piano and a mouse just an animal. When file was an important office material and hard drive just an uncomfortable road trip. When cut was done with a knife and paste with glue. When web was a spider's home and virus was a flu. When apple and blackberry were just fruits. That's when we had a lot of time for family and friends. I'm just thinking of all this new terminology, which when we use when you talk of computers and things like that. So and I mean you're our computer fundi here, so our tech fundi, if I can put it that way. So of course, I mean it's something that we're going to have to just adopt as well. Another message that comes through says, it comes from my brother Ghulam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and good morning. If it's written for you, nothing and no one can stop it from reaching you. Don't stress. Ask Allah for it. Wishing you a day filled with love. Ameen, ameen, thumma ameen.
أنت المعبود يا رب العالمين يا رحمن يا رحيم يا رب العالمين يا رحمن يا رحيم لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله عليه صلاة الله عليه بركات الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله عليه صلاة الله عليه بركات الله.
Well, we're going to be visiting the marketplace very shortly, but just after that, we're going to be speaking to Dr. Hina Narottam, a member of the Neurological Association of South Africa, and she's going to be talking to us about neurological disorders, preventable yet a leading cause of disability. But right now, the marketplace awaits us.
Transform your lifestyle with Fideli, the ultimate destination for healthy choices. Visit our stores in Cowie Park and Pavilion in Durban and Greenpoint, Cape Town. Dive into a world of fresh, nutritious delights, from vibrant produce to guilt-free snacks. At Fideli, we're more than just a store. We're your partner in wellness. Elevate your health journey today. Fideli, where good taste meets good health. Fideli, healthy living, wellness journey.
Attention Westville, get ready for our brand new Sunday market at the Village Market Mall. Join us at 123 Jan Hofmeer Road on the 4th of August for a day filled with breakfast, brunch, lunch, or an early dinner. Enjoy horseback riding, kids entertainment, and fantastic shopping for everyone. From 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., we've got your perfect Sunday planned. Visit the Sunday Village Market at 123 Jan Hofmeer Road, Westville, right across from Westville Boys High and next to the Sufi Masjid. Mark your calendars for the 4th of August. See you there.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness. And every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and free zakat calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Swipe and save at Checkers Foods Cowie Park with amazing deals like Parmalat or Bonita 500 grams salted butter. Buy 2 for 140 rand, saving you 50 bucks. Nescafe Gold Instant Coffee 200 grams for only 139.99, saving you 50 rand. Crystal Valley Long Life Milk 6 by 1 liter for just 89.99, saving you 10 rand. Omo Auto Washing Powder 2 kilos or liquid detergent 1.5 liter or capsule 16 per pack for just 79.99, saving you 25 rand. Deals valid until Sunday, July 21st. Only at Checkers Foods Cowie Park, now certified by the NIHT, the National Independent Halal Trust, across our butchery, bakery and deli.
Are you the woman who wants to be part of a sisterhood? Are you seeking motivation to better yourself? Then Muslima Today is for you, featuring Dr. Naledi Pandor, Amina Khatri Jamal, Mulana Zakaria Hanaka, Sheikh Ismail Kamdar, and a discussion with 3 revert Muslimas. Muslima Today takes place in Durban on Sunday, 18th August. Tickets and information at www.ilmsa.co.za/MT2024 or WhatsApp 083 271 4500.
The views and opinions expressed by the guest and presenters of Radio Al Ansar are not necessarily the views and opinions of Radio Al Ansar and the Al Ansar Foundation. Station for Conversation, Radio Al Ansar.
You're listening to Rise and Shine on Radio Al Ansar with myself, Faizal MJ Suleman. Now, although brain disorders are emphasized worldwide across all ages, sex, and socioeconomic groups, more than 70% of neurological diseases are prevalent in low to middle income countries and are the second leading cause of death globally, accounting for 9 million deaths per year. We have online with us Dr. Hina Narottam, a member of the Neurological Association of South Africa, who will be discussing some neurological disorders with us. Dr. Hina Narottam, good morning to you, and thank you for joining me on the program this morning.
Good morning, Faizal, and good morning to the listeners. Thank you for having me.
An absolute pleasure. Now, can you discuss or elaborate on the current state of neurological health in South Africa, especially regarding the prevalence of conditions like epilepsy, stroke, dementia?
Yes. So worldwide, strokes, dementia, and epilepsies are of the few neurological conditions that can be prevented. And 80% of strokes, 40% of dementias, and 25% of epilepsies, to be specific, can be prevented. In our country, we have 1 in every 100 people affected by epilepsy. And every 10 minutes of every day, we have 2 South Africans suffering a stroke. And then with dementia, about 4 to 8% of South Africans suffer from dementia. So these conditions are quite prevalent, and therefore it's important that our population is aware of them, how they present, and also what they can do to prevent these conditions.
Now, speaking about prevention, sure, there must be some symptoms which must be presenting themselves to sort of give an indication that there is a problem. Or alternatively, there must be something one can do to prevent. What can one do?
Yes, so that's a broad question, and there's a lot that one can do, starting with activities at home. So we should have a look at our lifestyle and our activities, and important things that we should consider are being active. So inactivity and alcohol intake, smoking, and a poor diet are all common causes for neurological conditions. And then a lot of people in our community walk around with conditions such as hypertension, cholesterol, diabetes, heart conditions, and all these general medical conditions also lead to the development of neurological conditions such as strokes and dementia. So these are 2 of the more common aspects within our society that can be addressed at home already.
And what are the most significant challenges faced by South Africa in terms of diagnosing and treating neurological disorders?
So maybe to start off with, we could compare our country as a low and middle income country to high income countries. And in high income countries, the ratio of neurologists to the population is 35 neurologists per 500,000 people. However, in low to middle income countries like ours, we have one neurologist per 500,000 people. So that is a major barrier in care for our patients because access to neurologists is limited. And then secondly, access in terms of geographic location and economics, as well as stigma, are big issues that we have to deal with. Stigma is prevalent in women and young girls and older people, and especially the fact that a large proportion of our population are living in poverty and remote areas. So these patients or people naturally, it's more common for them to have neurological conditions, and then they get stigmatized, and the community seems to think that these conditions are more prevalent in people from people who live remotely or have limited access to neurologists.
What role does early detection play in managing neurological disorders, and what are the current barriers to early detection in South Africa?
So maybe to that we should speak about something called brain capital. And brain capital it's got to do with creativity, knowledge, and skills, things that we as individuals acquire over our lifetime and that we can use to contribute towards our economy and the productivity of our society at large. So by preventing neurological conditions and addressing them early, we improve the overall health of our community and our people. And by improving overall health, we then raise the ability or the contribution of brain capital towards the society. So that would be one of the main reasons why neurological conditions should be detected early, because it not only affects the individual and their overall health, but also their ability to contribute to society and the country as a whole. And then the barriers, as we mentioned, are really just access to healthcare and the fact that there are very few neurologists per, in our case, one per 500,000 in our country.
There's a question that's coming from a listener, which I hope you don't mind dealing with.
Sure.
What are the causes of these neurological disorders, and especially are these hereditary?
Yeah, so that's a good question, and it's a common question as well. In terms of causes, I will address the factors that we can look at to prevent neurological conditions, and we had a look also at where I mentioned about the chronic conditions which are quite common in our society. So that being hypertension, diabetes, cholesterol, and heart conditions. These all contribute towards the development of strokes and dementias. And then in terms of hereditary illnesses, when it comes to neurological conditions, and in fact many medical conditions in general, there's usually a component of genetics and environmental component. So the environmental component is everything I've mentioned now and which I'll address in terms of lifestyle. And usually, in most cases, the environmental component is the stronger component, and it's the component that we have the ability to reduce. So the genetic component, we can't necessarily do anything about. And certain conditions do have a strong genetic component, but a lot of these conditions have a much bigger environmental component, and that we can address and use to prevent the incidence of these conditions.
And Dr. Narotham, could you share some practical tips for listeners to incorporate into their daily routines to protect their brain health?
Yes. So these are those environmental factors that I've mentioned. And there's a whole list of things that one can do. I mentioned about alcohol and smoking. Now, smoking damages our neurons or our brain cells. And alcohol consumption also leads to impairment in memory and the impairment in the ability to think. So smoking and alcohol are big drivers, and that's something we can address. And then something that's I think, underestimated is the need to sleep. We should aim for about 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night. And by prioritizing our sleep, we benefit in two ways in terms of neurological conditions. The one is we improve our ability to remember, and we improve our brain's ability to process the information and the memories of the day. And then secondly, by allowing our brain time to sleep, we allow toxin removal from the brain. So we need to be sleeping for the toxins to be removed from the brain. These toxins, it said, when they build up, are also one of the contributors to dementia. So those are two very important components. And then exercise. One should exercise every day for at least about 30 minutes. Physical activity that increases blood flow, not only to your muscles, but also to your brain. And by increasing blood flow to the brain, you're nourishing the brain. So you're allowing new cells to grow, and you're also enhancing your ability to think and remember. And then lastly, I think another component that's also underestimated is the importance of being socially connected. A lot of us live in isolation, and we feel that we are connected sufficiently via social media, but it's very important to have connections in person, and not just within your friends and family circle, but also within your community. And by having strong social connections, we also actually improve our ability to think, and we also improve our emotional well-being, which then contributes to improved neurological health.
Dr. Norton, I was about to say thank you for joining me, but there's one more question that's come through. She
course.
says, Doctor, thank you for the information, for highly informative program. The question I have is that we are often advised to take certain supplements to improve brain health. Your thoughts on this, please?
Yes. So one of the other components which I didn't mention, which is important to improving neurological health, is following a balanced diet. So it's important to have a variety of fruits and vegetables, as well as grains and lean proteins in your diet, and then healthy fats as well. So this is where those omega supplements come in. And if you're able to obtain healthy fats in your diet, then there wouldn't be a need to take extra supplements. But depending on one's dietary restrictions, you may need to supplement. So I think one should look at it from the perspective of, are you getting in everything you need in terms of your vitamins and minerals, as well as your healthy fats? Those healthy fats are your omega-3, 6, and 9. And if you're not able to get all of that in your diet, then it would be an option to supplement. But I don't think that one needs to supplement, that every single person needs to supplement. It should be based on what you're able to obtain through your diet, and where there is a deficiency, there you can supplement.
Dr. Narottam, thank you very much for joining me in the program this morning and for having shared those thoughts with us. But before you leave us, do you have a message for our listeners?
Yes, thank you, Faizal. I think the message I'd like to give to the listeners is, it starts with you. It's completely up to you, and it starts with you. You are in control, and you are in power, and you are responsible for your own health. Us doctors, we are there to help diagnose and treat conditions, but in terms of preventing these conditions, it starts with you, it starts with your lifestyle, it starts at home. So take control and be the healthy person that you would like to be.
Thank you so much, Dr. Narottam. Do enjoy the rest of the weekend. All the best to you, and thank you again.
Thank you very much, Faizal. To you too.
We spoke to Dr. Hina Narottam, a member of the Neurological Association of South Africa, and she discussed certain neurological disorders with us.
I don't have lots of money. Sometimes it can be scary, but I don't seem to worry, 'cause I got something better though. I don't need a fancy car. Life's broken me
Message comes from Brother Yusuf Patel. Do you remember in older days people drinking from their saucer? I used to think it was because the tea was too hot. Then today I came across this poem that made me feel there was symbolism into the tea ritual. Drinking from my saucer from John Paul Moore. I've never made a fortune and it's probably too late now, but I don't worry about that much. I'm happy that anyhow. And as I go along life's way, I'm reaping better than I sowed. I'm drinking from my saucer cause my cup has overflowed. I don't have a lot of riches and sometimes the going's tough, but I've got loved ones around me and that makes me rich enough. I thank God for his blessings and the mercies he's bestowed. I'm drinking from my saucer cause my cup has overflowed. I remember times when things went wrong. My faith was somewhat thin, but all at once the dark clouds broke and the sun peeped through again. So, God, help me not to gripe about the tough roads that I've hoed. I'm drinking from my saucer, cause my cup has overflowed. Thank you, Brother Yusuf Patel. That was absolutely excellent. And of course, the second message comes from Brother Yusuf Patel. Beautiful is the heart that understands someone else's pain. Beautiful is the hand that holds someone else's during difficult times. Beautiful is the thought that thinks once good for others. Beautiful is the person whom Allah has blessed with these beautiful characteristics. Enjoy the cold. It won't be here for long. Coming soon. Next distraction, humidity, mosquitoes, and sleepless nights. From Brother Yusuf Patel. Brother Patel, Yusuf Patel, Jazakallah khair for that beautiful message.
I'll be okay, okay. I'll be okay, okay. I'll be just fine this way. With Allah, I'll be okay, okay. With Allah, I'll be okay. With Allah, I'll be okay. With
In Gaza, where the death toll from the Israeli shelling of Khan Yunis has risen to at least 73, residents were instructed to evacuate to the humanitarian zone between Al-Mawasi and Deir al-Bala. Despite UN warnings, it was overcrowded and lacked basic services. That, as the World Health Organization warns, there's a high risk of polio spreading across the enclave and beyond. Let's listen to this clip.
It plays like a video game, complete with the sound effects and explosions. Video released by Hamas on Monday claimed to show successful attacks on Israeli tanks in Rafah. The footage may be defiant in style and in content. Israeli tanks, however, continue to advance here and across southern Gaza. On Tuesday, children and adults in Khan Yunis sat in the streets after surviving yet another night of escalating violence.
Basic essentials aren't available. At home, we had to carry water. Electricity was cut off. Food was cut off. There's no work, no income. Everything is limited, and there's barely enough to eat and drink. Then suddenly, you're told you have to leave without warning. And then rockets began to fall.
Tens of thousands of civilians have fled the fighting, seeking refuge anywhere they can. The United Nations says that nowhere in Gaza is safe. Yet still, things look likely to get worse. The World Health Organization on Tuesday said it was concerned about an outbreak of polio in Gaza. Parts of Khan Yunis already resemble cesspools. While that represents an increased risk to life in a place with little or no available healthcare, there is also growing risk about disease spreading beyond the enclave.
The different outbreaks of the communicable diseases that may happen in Gaza. We had hepatitis A confirmed last year, and now we may have a polio. So with the crippled health system, lack of water and sanitation, as well as lack of access of population to the health services.
Footage from Tuesday showed Israeli strikes hitting buildings in Nuseirat in central Gaza. Reports suggested some had received calls from the Israeli army warning of the strikes ahead of time. Israel believes it is close to destroying the last of Hamas in central and southern Gaza. True or not, it's likely that civilians here will continue to perish and struggle long after the fighting finishes. Joel Flynn, TRT World.
Al-Ansar International.
The Watch Doctor for watch repairs, watch batteries, watch straps, 21st keys, engraving, and sound for your occasion. Handled professionally at 263 Sparks Road, Mohammedia Center, Suite 104, Overport, next to the Sparks Road Masjid. Contact Zain on 082 542 3070. The Watch Doctor. The Watch Doctor. Keeping time every time.
This and only this is Nightline. Nightline is the only program that allows you to listen to the opportunity to voice your opinion on any matter or any topic that concerns you. Also on Nightline, we interview the famous, the not so famous, and infamous. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Brother Muhammad Varyawa, and with me in the studio is Dr. Anwar Jiwa. Join us every Saturday night from 8:30 p.m. till 10:30 p.m. on Nightline, the program designed especially for you, the listener.
You've asked, and we've listened. The Sultan Bahu Family Fete is here again. Help us heal hearts by joining us at the Old Durban Drive-In from the 8th to the 11th of August, 10 a.m. to midnight for loads of fun, food, shopping, a grand fun fair, comedy, kavali, and giveaways. For stall inquiries, call Tasneem on 081-836-2888. That's 081-836-2888. The Sultan Bahu Family Fete. A fate with a purpose. Sultan Bahu is a registered NPO and PBO.
They convince the world to believe that terrorists look like beards and thobes. Now, as the facade cracks, one martyr after another, the world sees through the broken windows and now knows the true face of terrorism. It wears suits and ties and smiles behind lies.
Your perfect companion, Radio Al Ansar.
You're listening to Rise and Shine on Radio Al Ansar with myself, Faizal MJ Suleman. Kidnappings in South Africa have significantly increased over the past decade, indicating a rise in organized crimes. According to recent Statistics South Africa report, over 16,000 kidnappings are recorded annually, with 85% of the victims being women and children. We have online with us criminologist and national coordinator Bianca van Aswagen from Missing Children South Africa. Ms. Bianca van Aswagen, good morning to you and thank you for joining me on the program this morning.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me.
Mm-hmm. It's an absolute pleasure. With 85% of the victims being women and children, what specific factors contribute to their vulnerability?
We need to understand that kidnappings happen for various reasons. We've got opportunistic kidnappings. We've got kidnappings for ransom. We've got
Okay, I think we've lost Ms. van Aswagen. Okay, we'll just redial in.
Get ready for the grand opening in my home, South Africa, in collaboration with OMS Africa and pop-up Lady Lena store. From July 26, join us at 202 Brickfield Road, Overport, next to IG Hussein for a weekend filled of celebration, exclusive deals, in-store specials, and unbeatable promotions. Discover the latest in homeware and cookware trends, indulge in unique Turkish fashion, and enjoy a top-notch shopping experience like no other. Mark your calendars and bring along your friends and family along.
Getting you through your day. Radio Al Ansar.
Sorry, Ms. van Aswagen, I think some gremlins crept into the system, but we are discussing kidnapping and the increase in kidnapping, and the question that was posed was, with 85% of the victims being women and children, what specific factors contribute to their vulnerability?
Yes, apologies for that glitch. Just what I was saying, that we need to understand that kidnappings happen for various reasons. So we've got opportunistic kidnappings, we've got kidnappings for ransom, family and parental abductions, and then we've also got traditional medicine-related kidnappings that happen. Unfortunately, women and children are more vulnerable in the sense of they cannot fight back as men can do, for instance. So they are our easiest targets, especially women driving by themselves, for instance, or children just being outside playing and not being supervised. So they are easier targets in the sense to be taken for any reason for kidnapping.
Human trafficking is a global issue. Could you elaborate on how human trafficking networks operate both globally and within South Africa?
Yes, human trafficking is a global problem and it's happening here in South Africa. South Africa is also seen as a transit, import, and export destination for human trafficking victims. So we look at the fact that human trafficking is very much sophisticated. If the demand is there, then it will always happen, unfortunately, where it is human trafficking related to sexual exploitation or forced labor or illegal adoptions, or even we've got organ harvesting that's happening with human trafficking. But these syndicates are very, very, very sophisticated in the sense of how they lure their victims, how they take their victims, and what their victims will be used for.
And how prevalent is all of this in South Africa?
Unfortunately, we've seen a significant increase in human trafficking and kidnapping in South Africa, and especially in the last 2 to 3 years. It's very much money orientated. So it's a low risk, high reward type of crime that we're dealing with here. And they are so sophisticated, as I mentioned, with how they operate. So unfortunately, yes, we in South Africa need to start realizing this is a reality that we're facing in our country, and that we as South Africans also have the responsibility to report any matters. Do you suspect any human trafficking or kidnappings that are happening, so we can actually adjust our systems, get everything in place, and actually combat this happening in our country.
And what are the key signs that individuals should be aware of to identify potential human trafficking situations?
Well, if we look specifically at human trafficking victims, the victims will be people that will be not looking you in the eye, for instance. They will be under duress. They will look bruised and battered, for instance, if they've been mishandled. We need to look at, are they isolated? So there's a lot of contributing factors to what would a human trafficking victim look like. If we in general look into our public, into our communities, it will be houses where people come in and out, and a lot of people staying in that house, and something suspicious is happening. So anything that you need to look out for, if there's suspicious activity in your neighborhood, that you're seeing young girls coming in and out from a specific house. Is there, for instance, young boys being used on a farm, for instance, that you don't know whether they are South Africans, and or maybe they are being brought in from a different country? Do they have the right documentation? It's all those things that we really need to focus on and to look at to actually stop human trafficking from happening.
And what are the most urgent priorities for missing children in South Africa in the coming years regarding the fight against kidnapping and human trafficking?
Missing Children South Africa is a non-profit organization. So our funding is our biggest problem that we are facing, because our services that we render absolutely free to anyone that needs it in the fight against human trafficking, kidnapping, and those that are going missing, adults and children. So we ask the public to please stand up and help us, fund us, get us sponsors. Please donate to our organization, because it's really vital for us to get the funding that we can render our services for free, as we are doing to those that are in need of it, because we also have resources, unfortunately, that costs us money, but we need to keep helping these people out there that needs our assistance, because education is also vital to our organization, educating our communities and the whole of South Africa on kidnappings, human trafficking, and children going missing, that we can prevent this from happening. Prevention is always better than cure.
Ms. Van Vachen, thank you very much for joining me in the program this morning. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for, but do enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you for having shared the information with us, and of course, we will chat again.
It's a pleasure. Lovely weekend. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Okay, we spoke to criminologist, national coordinator of Missing Children South Africa, Bianca van Aswagen, and she spoke to us about the problems with the human trafficking, kidnapping, etc. So let's take cognizance of that, and let's become a bit more proactive, and of course more protective of ourselves, our children, and of course prevention is always the best.
صل على المصطفى حبيبنا محمد عليه السلام اللهم صل على المصطفى حبيبنا محمد عليه السلام You are the greatest man we look up to. And I stay faithful, I learn my lessons all through you. The final prophet, he led the way, so we stay true. I give my all and everything. Allahumma salli ala al-Mustafa Habibna Muhammad alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala al-Mustafa Habibna Muhammad alayhi salam. Sallallahu ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah, ya Rasulallah, Habiballah. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah, ya Rasulallah, Habiballah. Allahumma salli ala al-Mustafa Habibna Muhammad alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala al-Mustafa Habibna Muhammad alayhi salam. He was respected, the most trustworthy of us all. We can never match him, but we try our best and give our all. I give my all and everything. Allahumma salli ala Mustafa Habibna Muhammad alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Mustafa Habibna Muhammad alayhi salam.
The Al-Ansar Foundation, Da'wah, Tarbiyah and Education, establishing the foundations of Islamic civilization in South Africa.
The International Sacred Trust's exhibition once again comes to South Africa, showcasing the various sacred relics of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam and the Sahaba radiallahu anhu ajma'in, starting at the Al-Ansar Hall on the 27th and 28th of July from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Other venues include Chatsworth, Phoenix, Tongaat, Ladysmith, Newcastle, La Lucia, and Pietermaritzburg. Please watch social media platforms for more information. This is brought to you by the Syed Ehraz Foundation in association with the Chisti Sabri Jahangiri Khanka and Research Center. Contact 071-896-0148 for further information.
Are you or a loved one battling the disease of addiction? Is your family, life, relationships, work suffering due to alcoholism and substance abuse? Zensai Treatment, Recovery and Wellness Center are addiction specialists offering specialized psychotherapy and naltrexone therapy to help overcome addiction. Zensai offers hotel-style facilities to allow your loved ones to regain their dignity and overcome alcoholism and drug abuse in the most comfortable setting possible. Fight addiction. Call Zensai Treatment, Recovery and Wellness Center, the addiction recovery specialist on 031 563 0751.
Rise and Shine on Radio Al-Ansar with myself, Faizal MJ Suleman. Sharks off Brazilian coast test positive for cocaine. Zach, listen to this one. Scientists suspect that human drug consumption is a possible reason behind the sharks' positive cocaine tests. You wouldn't consider any form of drug as shark bait, would you? But Brazilian scientists have made a concerning discovery about wild sharks off the Brazilian coast. 13 sharp-nosed wild sharks that were caught in the nets of fishermen were dissected by scientists who were shocked to discover that they tested positive for cocaine. Another study revealed high levels of cocaine in marine life, such as brown mussels, oysters, and eels in Santos Bay in the Brazilian state of Sao Paulo. What is even more concerning is the reason behind the high cocaine levels is a mystery. Now, it's just amazing, really. There can be several explanations, but just let the scientists do that and let the marine biologists, etc., do that. We leave that to them. We'll listen to this nasheed.
या रसूल अल्लाह तेरे दर की फजाओं को सलाम या रसूल अल्लाह तेरे दर की फजाओं को सलाम या रसूल अल्लाह तेरे दर की फजाओं को सलाम या रसूल अल्लाह तेरे दर की फजाओं को सलाम गुम बदे खजरा की ठंडी ठंडी छाओं को सलाम गुम बदे खजरा की ठंडी ठंडी छाओं को सलाम वाले आना जो तवाफेरा ज़ाए अक़दस से करे वाले आना जो तवाफेरा ज़ाए अक़दस से करे मस्त तो बेखुद वजूद में आती हवाओं को सलाम मस्त तो बेखुद वजूद में आती
060-904-1056. You can forward to us your inspirational messages. A message comes from Sister Hamida again. It says, I love this so much. This post comes from a sister who wishes to remain anonymous. I learned something, my business, her business, Allah's business. So if I bake a cake at home and decide to add cocoa instead of vanilla essence to make it a chocolate cake, then that is my business. Now when I decide to take it to my mom, and she says to me that her daughter-in-law can make a cake better than mine, then that is her business. In my heart I have been hurt, but I remain silent in the knowledge now what she has done to me is Allah's business, so He will be the judge. Always remember that if I say anything to her at that moment, I am making Allah's business into my business. It's something I learned in Talim, and I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain. At the same time, watch your words. Let them be sweeter than honey. If you have nothing good to say, say nothing. Don't hurt a heart. It may be a heart that Allah loves. I think that's absolutely beautiful. Watch your words. Let them be sweeter than honey. And if you have nothing good to say, then don't say it. Say nothing. Don't hurt a heart. It may be a heart that Allah loves. So thank you so much, Sister Hamida, for that beautiful message. Another message that comes through is, a fact of life is that if everyone is happy with you, then surely you have made many compromises in your life. And if you are happy with everyone, then surely you have ignored many faults of others. And it says, good morning. Another message that comes through is how beautiful it is that Allah gives us countless opportunities to turn to Him. No matter what you have done or how far you have gone, His doors of mercy are always open. Turn back to Him. And another message that comes says, have a blissful weekend filled with fabulous thoughts, fabulous moments, and fabulous friends. Surround yourself with those who make you feel blessed and bring out the best in you, not the stress in you. Enjoy. Yes, of course, your company means a lot, and it makes or breaks you. Absolutely. And of course, the last message I'm going to read out that's come through says, the worst people in the sight of Allah on the day of resurrection will be the double-faced people who will appear to some people with one face and to other people with another face. Yes, this seems to be a huge problem when you represent to be someone or something and in effect you are something else. Zach, thank you for engineering for me. Thank you for the job well done. Most appreciated. Wasima Bucks, thank you for the logistics. And of course, Hajra Kota, thank you for having produced this show. Always a pleasure being with you on Rise and Shine on a Saturday morning. To enjoy the rest of the weekend, and inshallah ta'ala, I'll be back with you on one of the shows during the course of the week, alternatively on Friday night on Let's Chat. So till then, for myself, Faizal MJ Suleman, Have a wonderful weekend and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. But before I leave you, I remind you that Kelly will be joining us on Careers Compass after this, and that's going to be, of course, after the news. So we look forward to Kelly's show, Career Compass. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
प्यारी माँ प्यारे बाप मौला ने दिया अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह 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 प्यारी माँ प्यारे बाप मौला ने दिया अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह 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 दोस्तों के साथ न भागते रहो अपने माँ बाप को खुश करते रहो